So most of the advice that I try to give you guys about skin, I think it's usually tips that you can actually implement into your routine. So whether it's, changing the way you feel about your diet and your approach, trying to keep you, motivated, or, facial massage, or talking about, using SPF and things like that. I try not to dwell too much on the negative side of, kind of what we do to ourselves. But there is one extremely common habit. It's something that I'm recovering from this, that a lot of people that I know are recovering from. It's a compulsion that I feel doesn't get very much attention, but that it can get to such a degree that it's practically devastating, to be honest. And this compulsion that I'm talking about, this super destructive compulsion, is skin picking. So skin picking usually develops, it's often during our teens or sometimes our 20s. It happens, it might be because of acne. It might have been brought on by another kind of change. It could have been, something like emotional, personal that happened. My skin picking started from a breakup that I had in my 20s. The same time I bought a magnifying mirror and yeah. So it becomes this way to comfort ourselves. It becomes this way of trying to control something that we don't like about ourselves. I think it starts from a good place. It starts from, it seems like self-care. It seems like it's just part of our skincare routine, that it's just, that it's a healthy habit. I think when we start with skin picking, that's kind of the idea that we have. Like, oh, look at this blackhead, look at this pimple. It's gonna give it a little squeeze, I'm gonna get rid of it, I'm gonna clean it out. It's a healthy thing to do. But unfortunately, what normally happens is that we go completely overboard and we don't take the necessary precautions to do extractions in a safe, clean way. And we just completely go overboard and start picking and squeezing and trying to dig things out that maybe just it's not their time, and that leads to an incredible amount of inflammation. It can even lead to infection. It'll definitely lead to scarring. I have a scar right in between my eyebrows from a pimple that I squeezed in my early 20s, so we're talking like a long time ago now, and I still have the scar because I picked it and then it like came back and then I picked it again, and I couldn't like leave it alone, and so these things happen, and often whenever someone has a lot of scarring on their face, a lot of pitting from acne, quite often it's not just the acne itself. I mean, it's sort of what the person with the acne actually did to the pimples. And I'm not trying to blame or anything like that. It's just more bringing awareness to skin picking as being an issue, as being something that does cause a lot of inflammation. Inflammation is like the #1 culprit for like pretty much every skin disorder. Actually pretty much every disorder of the body, but anyways, side note. But skin picking, it really breaks my heart. Like I hate seeing magnifying mirrors in shops. It takes me back to that place when, when I went through that breakup and I had that magnifying mirror and I started just like, it started with plucking my eyebrows, and then those tweezers just kind of started going other places. Oh, what else can I pull out? What else can I excavate? And, I was like, it was like kind of like how you get like a big haircut after a breakup. For me, it was like picking at my face really hardcore. And yeah, I mean, it starts in that place of like good intentions, but it very quickly just de-escalates, and it does lead to a lot of the scarring, and the scarring that, you know, may need like laser treatment in order to address, if it can be addressed at all. So it's not blame. I definitely understand like where it comes from, but I think that bringing awareness to this being an issue, if it is something you do have an issue with, which honestly, like, it's like 50% of people or something have some form of trichomania, which is hair pulling or face squeezing, you know, skin picking. And it can get to a point where it becomes like an obsessive compulsion to do, and the root causes of that definitely something that needs to be addressed. It's definitely something that needs to be looked at. So when you get into that place, it's usually at the end of the day. You know, maybe we've had a hard day and we come home, or like maybe it's still in the car. The car is it's unfortunately a great place to kind of get that close-up look on your skin and start picking, to just notice what's going on in your mind at that time, to slow down, put your hands down, put down the tweezers, and ask yourself what's going through your head right now. Like, why are you picking on your skin? Why are you picking on yourself? What are you thinking? Are you thinking loving thoughts? My guess is probably not. And you know, just to take that moment to not judge yourself for doing it, but just to just sort of take that space and take it back a little bit to find out what it is that's truly bothering you, and what you can do about that issue itself. Not the pimple, not the blackhead, just leave it alone for now and ask yourself why it is that, where you are in your mind at that point. Okay, so if you are a skin picker, welcome to the club. It's like it's not like a daily issue, at least for me anymore, but let me tell you, it is a struggle. I totally get where you're coming from. I totally understand like what, you know, the compulsion to do it. And yeah, I'd like to hear your story with skin picking and what helps you not to do it. Like, maybe you threw out your magnifying mirror, maybe you have really bad lighting in your bathroom like I do. I can't see what's going on my face in the bathroom. Or maybe you just try to avoid mirrors at certain times whenever you know, like, that for anxiety and stress is really high, like you just avoid mirrors altogether. Not because you don't necessarily want to like that you hate your appearance, but just that you don't want to like, you know, trigger that, that drive to start picking. And if you've got maybe like a breathing technique that you use, or some sort of mantra that you tell yourself, I'd be interested to know what helps you overcome your urge to pick your skin. All right, no picking. Bye.